everyone, I'm Kung Fu Beer. Welcome back. We are going to do another kind of a helper video, if you will. This is on intermediate train handling. So I've already done the basic train handling operations before, and now I figured it's time to learn how to do some intermediate stuff, such as dynamic braking down the Cajon Pass and so forth. So we are going to get right to that in just a minute. I'm with BNSF 7216 here at the Martinez sighting, at the very top of the Cajon Pass, getting ready to head down into down the pass into the San Bernardino sub eventually. Sit tight and let me show you how to get this thing down the hill. Be right back. All right, everyone, we're back. We just recruited 7216, the van dropped us off here at the top of the summit on the Martinez sighting here. It's actually kind of a main sighting, if you will, but we're just before summit, and we're waiting for some other trains to come by here. Looks like there's a UP train 8553 coming down right past us, so we're stuck here waiting for that. However, we have red signal, so we'll be hanging out here for a minute, but we can do some things like, brake tests. I currently have the locomotive brake engaged. That's the back of it there. So here I have the DPU screen enabled right now, and that will allow us to see the status of the DPUs. And this is your basic screen here, the one that we want to run. So we got, looks like we have a intermodal coming our way. We're currently in channel 65. That would be on our map. But yeah, so we got a train coming here, and then the UP will be coming here in a second. Looks like 5275 is stopped. So let's do a brake check here. Right now our equalizing reservoir is at 90, brake pressure at 90. So if I'm going to put 10 pounds here, you see the equalizing reservoir is down to 80, brake pipe's at 80. However, we need to wait until the rear here is on 80 as well, but it got there rather quickly. So when I release the brakes, we're going to be looking for that to come off. So we got BNSF and UP actually going to be coming next to us here. After that UP train passes here, our track should be open to get out of here. So as we go to the back here, make sure we have an EOT on here. It's activated. We're going to watch our, we basically look at the brakes, but we can go here, say, okay, well, we got 80 on the rear. Now if I drop it from the locomotive, basically you see up here at the top, our flow rate is going down. Now you see the brake pipe coming up back here. But now we have two engines here as well, so that's going to be pretty quick right here towards the back, because we have engines back here providing that air pressure right there. And so basically the middle of the train is what we'd be looking for. Or we can, can watch what our flow is. When the flow goes down to 0, it's good to go. And then we know the brake test is good. I'm also going to do a DPU bump here in a minute, as soon as the majority of this train goes by, just in case the locomotive gets out of my control. So you see I have the DPU screen already up. And you see the green line there. That means I'm fenced. So if I'm using a rail driver, so you have to look at the keys yourself. But if you see here, that's fenced. That means I can control independently the DPUs. And if I have the fence off, that means when I give it throttle up here, the back will respond afterwards. You see I'm getting a DPU error. That's because it's a little far away and the hills are sucking up the zoomies a little bit. And it could also be that this train is interfering with that radio signal back to my other engines that are back there. So our brakes are released. We're at 90. And I'm going to put the reverser in forward. We're on a flat grade right now where we are at. We're running 5,388 feet with 10,000 tons. RHPT is 2.2, so this is not going to be fun going down the hill. It's going to be rather difficult. So I do have my independent brakes on. I do have both forward and reverse and lights in the rear of the train set to dim now. And then I just notched up, as you see right here, it says FN1. So I've notched up just one notch the rear DPU now, and you can see that there's a little bit of a load on it, pushing up against the cars that I have here. So we're just waiting for a signal. As the cars compress, push me up, I now have a green. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let her go. So I'm going to release the brakes on the locomotive because everything else is off. And now we're going to get moving. I'm going to move the DPU up one more notch. It takes a minute to respond, so I am in notch 3 on the DPU. I'm getting the DPU error. I mean, it's yellow, so it's having some signal issue. We do have a clear, so we are permitted to cross. I just noticed my audio is still down. And then we have a signal in front of us. Lights go to bright on the head end. A little bit of a crossing right up here. Nobody here, so we can just go by it. Now I am coming off the crossover, so I went to notch 2, and hopefully the rail driver does continue to not flip out on me. So I'm doing 15 here. My speed limit is going to be a little slow as we proceed down the pass here. If you go to the depot website, the link is down below. We are going to be looking at the Cajon sub, and we're on page 5. So because of our tonnage, 10,000 tons, and the fact that we're currently on main number 1, we have a speed restriction of 20 20 miles an hour. So we're currently doing 16. I just went into dynamics. I have no brakes on whatsoever yet. Currently, I just turned off the DPU fencing because I don't need to have it pushing anymore. It was the back of the rear of the train was downhill, but now it should be coming up on the level. I am currently given a little, looks like 5 on the dynamic brakes. You can see down below the load on the DPU as well as the lead head end where I'm sitting. So we're not allowed to pass 20. So we're going to keep an eye right here on the speedometer. We have our basically, if we're speeding up or slowing down here, our rate. You want to try to keep that as close to 0 as possible. And here's where we're going to start going down. So the track over here is us. UP actually goes around that way and they're up a little bit higher, but this is where things get a little interesting, especially when you see the DPU that is starting to flip out a little bit. So the way the DPU works, it's remote controlled. It's a radio signal that goes back to it. And as you make changes up here, it sends a signal back. And so there's going to be a little bit, a few second delay, 5-10 seconds max. And so if you do increase dynamic braking up here, the train is going to squish a little bit and then until it answers in the back, and they'll keep it right where it's at. Obviously, when you start to drive, it's going to pull away because the DPU in the back has not responded yet. So you kind of have this accordion effect. So when you see we're starting to speed up a little bit. Again, we're only using dynamic braking at this point because it is just starting to go down. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and hopefully the train's not going to get away from us. This is one of those situations where if you plan ahead, you're going to be successful than if you wait till the last minute. So if you start your decline here already prepared for it, it shouldn't get away from you. We can throw 10 pounds on, and I'm going to do that here pretty soon as it starts, the grade starts getting heavier. I'm currently holding. And as long as the dynamics are keeping up, then I'm not feeling like I need to add brake pressure yet. You can see there it's starting to come up, more dynamic brakes. Because what I don't want to do is basically kill all my speed coming down. I want to keep it the manageable range. So it's a little bit of a back and forth. As the disclaimer, I'm not a real engineer in real life. I just play this video game, this sim, and these are the things that I've learned. So you feel the in here as well as see that the engine's starting to slow down now. That's okay because the grade is starting to increase now at 1.6. As more of the train weight comes on to the head end here as we're headed down, then it's going to start speeding up on us. You can see now start to get closer to 0 where we were. Now it's starting to slow down a little bit. I'm going to release the dynamic, come back off the dynamic brake slightly. Back to 0. And it's coming up in speed a little bit, which is fine. As long as that doesn't go too high, I'm happy with that. I'm going to be watching it though. Starting to go 4 miles an hour and then kind of bouncing around as the cars kind of do the accordion thing. So now our accelerometer is starting to stay constant above 0. So I'm going to give it a little more dynamic braking. Now we're at 0. As you see, it's starting to speed up now dramatically. More dynamic braking. We have to wait a minute to make sure that the engine and the DPU are working together to keep us close to 0. We can slightly adjust from there. We're still within our between 10 and 20, and just monitoring it constantly. There's currently no air on the cars at all. The air ready to go if we need it. But, we got 80 pounds in equalizing reservoir, so you see it's climbing up to 4, and we'll keep an eye on that as we start climbing in speed. It's coming down now because we're hitting a curve, which provides a little more resistance. We are now in the Cajon Pass going downhill. And now if we were on the other main, the one over there to the left, as I increase dynamic braking, we'd have a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit because that's steeper. We're at 15 now, 5 miles from our maximum speed. Giving it more dynamic braking and waiting. We're back to 0. We're going to keep an eye on this as it turns green and it starts staying consistently above 0, which it was starting to, but takes a moment. The dynamics are still hanging in there. It's a heavy train too, 10,000 feet. So as the cars rock back and forth a little bit, we are just keeping our eye. We're hawking that right there, our speed limit and our accelerometer. .25 is 2.30 now is the grade that we're on, so that's pretty significant. Currently, just by using dynamic braking, thus far, we're able to manage our speed. If it starts, basically we start going up higher, creeping into that higher speed limit of like 16 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour, then we may use about 10 pounds of air. So the equalizing reservoir indication here will be at 80, or even, we could go up to 12 if we need to. I don't think we need 12. I am slightly speeding up here at about 2 miles per minute. Or, what is that? Yeah, miles per hour per minute. As you see now, we're well above 0. My dynamics are at 99, so I'm at the maximum dynamic braking capability. Coming down a little bit. However, I'm seeing it stay around 3, so I'm going to go ahead and put 10 pounds on. And then our speed should come down. All right, equalizing reservoir is at 80. We're waiting for it to get through the train now. Got 80 on the rear. However, that's where the engine is. We are starting to slow down. Slow down and slowing down and slow down. I'm going to come off the dynamics. You can see the dynamic handle moving there a little bit. Again, we want to keep that as close to 0 as we can without making any major adjustments. So I'm still slowing down with that 10 pounds on, so I'm going to go ahead and come off the dynamics more. And ready to reapply it or ramp them up if we need them. Still slowing down. I'm going to come off the dynamics more. Now we're Probably going to start speeding up a little bit with dynamics at, looks like 38. $10 on the dot with a little bit of speed coming up. It's exactly what we're looking for, though. Just teeter-tottering around 0. That's what we look like right now, coming down the hill. 10.5, you can see all the way in the back there is our rear end. So we could actually keep it closer to the 20-mile-an-hour maximum, but this is fine. Like, we're in no hurry. We're going to get down, and you know, we're only going about 3 miles. Yeah, maybe it's more. Let me see. So we start at 55.6 and we end, so 10 miles. So we're going 10 miles, and is it really worth it to make that distance 2 minutes faster? I don't believe so. You see, we're at right around the 2 miles per minute mark on the accelerometer. I'm just trying to get her up closer to the 15. Between 15 and 16 is where I'm comfortable at, with a full negative 2.1 grade. This is the easier of the mains. We can do the same thing on main 2 if we want. With that extra 10 pounds, or with the 10 pounds of air, that's now the train is fully braking, barely, right? So the 10 pounds, the brakes are on. Just at the point of lifting. Now that I am getting, gotta get to the tunnel here. See, I'm at 15.5, so I'm gonna come up with the dynamic brakes. 55 on that. I don't want to come up too much because I got 10 pounds of air on. $14 miles an hour, so let me come off the dynamics a little bit. Just making fine adjustments now to the throttle. Still slowing down according to the accelerometer, so we'll speed up just a little bit. Slow it down quite a bit more to get some more speed up. Coming up at it from 11.5, back up to 15. Starting to speed up here. And if we look outside, we're not smoking any brakes. We don't have any locomotive brakes on at the moment. We just have 10 pounds running through the cars themselves, and they're loaded, so they're all heavy. Again, we're 10,000 pounds, or 10,000 tons. Speeding up just a little bit, which is okay with me. Grade has lightened a little bit. Now we're at -2. EOT is Still able to talk to us through the DPU. DPU, we don't have a DPU here. I suspect we will as soon as the DPU goes through the tunnels. So don't flip out about that. At 14.8. Add a little bit more dynamic, about 15.5. We're going to be going downhill all the way into San Bernardino.
BNSF detector, milepost 58.6, main 2.
That's not us. We're at, I think we're around, I don't know which, somewhere in the 60s. We don't have any way to, we just have this, the actual tile number, but we don't know exactly where we're at. It's going on our 215 highway though. 16 miles an hour is the current speed coming downhill. And we are not increasing speed too much, as you see the yellow there, minus 0.4-ish. It's right where I want to be. Can have a little bit of flexibility here. So with just dynamic braking, 10 pounds on, so far no sweat. We prepared ahead of time, planned for it, instead of reacting at the last minute. So been no big deal. We're a few miles under the maximum speed limit. Again, you can ride that line or you can just come down at your speed. Better safe than sorry kind of thing. We have a stop that'll be coming up soon. There's DPU errors. The DPU is probably entering the tunnels. Oops, because I had the, I don't know why that keeps coming up. Or approach medium. Approach medium, we cannot pass the next signal greater than 40 miles an hour. And we're going to be diverging. Got a crossing coming up, 15.5 miles an hour, perfect. I mean, this is just so smooth. No sweat, just managing the expectation of the train. Because we're less than 40 miles an hour, you don't have to whistle at the whistle board. It's our discretion that we can see the crossing. Here's our detector. I think that's our detector. Okay, now we'll keep an eye again back on the speedometer. You see the flow, our speed accelerometer is kind of bouncing around a little bit. It's not too much in the green, it's not too much in the yellow. It's kind of going back and forth a little bit. Slowed down half a mile an hour. You start getting back into 15, we'll remove some of the dynamic. Gets too fast, we'll apply a little bit more. Trying to figure out how to. There you go. Well, it's too late now, but I was trying to hit Q. See the back of the train.
No defects. Repeat, no defects.
That could be for us.
3, 4, 8, train, speed, 16 mph.
I think that's us.
8 degrees out.
350 axles, that was us. Okay. Grades stay the same. We are instructed by the rules of the road here that we are to maintain 20 miles an hour since we're over 6,500 tons. For milepost 56.3. Actually, we're on main 1, so up to 79.9, and 79.9 is after the Ono sighting. So basically, as we approach CP baseline, it will flatten out a lot for us. So we're going to be restricted to 20 miles an hour all the way to baseline. See, I'm down to 14, just below 14. I'm going to come off on the dynamics bit. We have a BNSF train on the, looks like the other tracks over here to our left. They're on main 1 going up, hopefully. We do have a red signal coming up, and then we got an Amtrak train that stopped at a red. That's not the one I want. I want to look over here at that guy. So he's coming up the hill. UP tracks over here in the distance, so that's UP. You hear, so I'm at 20 because I was talking and paying attention to other things, so now I have to do more dynamics. I let it go a little bit too much, but I didn't get crazy, right? So we're at the 20-mile-hour mark. We're at our maximum speed limit. I brought on the dynamics slowly instead of suddenly, and now I've got it slowing down just a little bit. Again, that 10 pounds of air on the cars is what's really doing it for us. Starting to slow down a little too much, so I'll come off the dynamics a little bit, equalize it out somewhere around 16-ish, if I can. $16 on the dot, and let's see how well we can hold it in that area. Grade is down to 2, -2. We have a diverging approach coming up. I'm sorry, that's not a diverging approach. I'm backwards. That's an approach. We need to be prepared to stop at the next signal. And if we're going over 30 to reduce, but we're not going over 30, we're 15. So if it was red over yellow, it would be diverging approach. But it's yellow over red, so we are it's just an approach for us. So next signal, we currently have a stop unless the Amtrak is out of there. I'm not sure if it is because Amtrak's following this intermodal over here. Intermediate signal here as it has a number plate on it. We're at 16 miles an hour, right where we want to be. Just a little bit of speed up going, and that's absolutely perfect. Still watching it start to rise and fall and rise and fall, and that's okay. We know the next signal is going to be a red, and that could be a mile, 2 miles. Unfamiliarity with this part of the track, we wouldn't know for sure. If you are familiar with it, then it's a lot easier. Suppose we can turn on, I don't know if actually they're not coming on. Milepost tags are on, so that will give us something. And we're slowing down a little bit more than I'd like, so I'm going to come off the dynamics a little bit, let her speed up a bit, and then get ready to slow down again. More importantly, we know there's a stop coming up. The stop should be at, I believe it's at the Cajon, CP Cajon. We got a train, I think that's the Amtrak coming up over here on the left, over here. So we're coming around the corner, and then when we get there, that should be the control point. So Amtrak's already clear of that. We'll probably get a green. Definitely Amtrak. Trying to put myself back in the cab. So milepost 47.1, you can see there in the distance. That's for UP though. Our milepost is 63. And again, we're having a hold speed between 63.2 and 79.9 with helpers. We don't have helpers, so this whole way we're having to hold the speed that we have. Wow, he doesn't have his brights on. Oh, maybe he turned them off for me. I didn't notice them come off. Wasn't looking. 16.7. We're getting closer to that 17. Again, I'm going to let it continue to speed up just a bit. We're on main 1, so that's not us. This is the mighty Cajon Pass, and we are conquering it. There's the DPUs in the back. Still hanging in there. 17.1, we're still good. Check, check. Once we rejoin the main up here, we should have a red light somewhere over there. I'm going to be rejoining the main here in a minute. Milepost 64, let's see, 64 and a half is where the Cajon CP is, control point. So we got 3/4 of a mile maybe. We don't know if we have a red right now. So we're going to start our slowing down now till we can see a light, because we know one's coming. Using dynamic brakes. Let's bring this down to 10. We'll be able to speed up pretty easily as we're going downhill, but we don't want to get stuck jamming on all the brakes and everything if we see a red light up here. I suspect we'll be clear because the Amtrak's already out of the way. Amtrak was on our track. We're below 9 now, so I'm going to come off dynamics a little bit. We are prepared to stop. Coming off even more as I'm creeping down well below 7. Looking for a light though. Even slower, you hear all the cars starting to buck or push up against the power here in the front end. It's okay. 6 miles an hour. It's a good approach speed, I believe, for me. Conductor is going to tell me if there's a light over here for us. Yeah, he's looking. Conductor says I don't see the signal yet. We are prepared to stop though. Trying to keep our speed under 10. Engineer's looking for the light. Sees reds. Signals to the engineer, you got reds over here. Engineer does now see them as well.
Milepost 5, 8.6, main 2, no defect. Repeat, no defect. Total axle 350. Train speed 14 and 8. Temperature 8, 7 degrees. Defector. Milepost 6, 6.5. Main 1. Temperature 87 degrees.
I got the red there. Conductor. BNSF 7216 coming up on a stop. Milepost 64.5 CP Cajon. Come to a nice stop. See here the speed limit sign's 35 for everybody anyways, unless you're passenger 40. We let her go above the 10, so now we're going to have to go ahead and get her slowed down again. Signal's way up here, so let's see if we can do a creep into the signal. And maybe we won't have to do a full start. Nice, relaxing roll into a stop. We don't want to come in too far away. Don't want to come in too sharp with our brakes either, or not our brakes, but we don't want to come in too strong on the dynamics, causing all the cars to just hit the power, push into the power. Right now I have dynamics completely off, as you see up here where it says dB, and we are speeding up, but I'm just letting it creep in. Get up closer to the light and see if we got anybody coming up. We don't. Yeah, we do. There's 7344 is coming, so we are going to be stopping full stop. Bringing some dynamics in. Let the train settle down. Just sit down here and wait at this light.
BNSF detector. Milepost 5.8.6.
I certainly hope you enjoyed bringing the train down the Cajon grade here. If you did, if you have any questions, again, I'm not a real engineer, I'm just play one on TV. But if you have any questions that I might be able to answer, leave a comment down below. If you want to join us on the Mateo community server, there's a link down for the Discord as well. Of course, there is the depot, and that's everybody. Everybody uses the configs from the depot, and such a great resource to have. I now have my dynamics are off. I'm in neutral. I do have my independent or my locomotive brake full, and I have my light dimmed now. So that's it. Coming down the Cajon Pass with a heavy load. BNSF 7216 out.